Taff, appreciate you calling on me here. Let's first talk about your stance. There's 5 power points of a 3 point stance. All right. If you're in a 2 point stance, you want to make sure that you have a lot of weight loaded on the front foot so you can always roll off the ball of your feet or the front foot you have there. It's really important that we are in our stance prior to the center having his hand on the football. We got to make sure that we're already set. And in this particular clip, you're up and you're down, you're up and you're down. So do a good job of being setter. Next thing, Taff. If you're in a 3 point stance, your feet are shoulder width apart, your weight's on the inside balls of your feet, you have a toe to instep, kind of toe to heel stagger, right? Make sure your hand is behind the ball and make sure your hat is behind your hand and then make sure your shoulders are square, right? You want your butt a little bit higher than your hips, okay? And you want to be head up, slightly looking through your bow. There's 5 power points of stance that we mentioned earlier, and those power points are going to be your hand, your shoulders, your hip, your knee, and your shin. Make sure they all have great angles. It's important here, Taft, that you always have a ball key and then a man key. So you have your eyes inside of the ball, you're set up in your stance, and you're nice, tight, ready to go once the ball is moved. When the ball is moved, you want to attack your man vertically with 0 steps. So you want to make sure you always contact with your hat, your hands when you strike, hat, hands, and hips to get vertically onto your man. Okay, you want to strike him, so your eyes will go from your ball key to your man key. Now, as you're getting set in here, you want to strike ball key. You're going to see the ball moved. You're going to strike your man vertically with 0 steps. And once you strike him hat, hands, and hips, you will then drive your feet with your shoulders square. And once your shoulders are square, you'll be in a good position. In this particular play, your hands are last. As you drive through this guy and strike him vertically, you need to make sure you see through your hands so that you have a lower pad level. So once you put your hands and strike this guy on his shoulders or in his breastplate, you then can see through his hands. So your helmet needs to be below your hands. So that will give you a natural lower pad level. The first clip, the third clip, the sixth clip, which is probably your best clip, and the seventh clip, these are all get off clips. You can get off the ball better, but just by using some of these tips. And the biggest one is going to be using a ball key, then a man key, and striking with the low pad level and violent hands. This second clip and the fifth clip, or the clip at the 20-second mark, are the same clips. It's the same play. Now, when you are in your 3 point stance and you have your 5 power points of a stance and you have your ball key and the ball snaps and you're getting off vertically with power, you are then having a man key. As the man steps down in this particular play and in the 22nd play, or the fifth clip, you then need to cross the line of scrimmage, slide inside with your shoulders square, and you need to go hip to hip with this offensive lineman. And you'd be running down the heel line with your eyes down, looking for a puller. When you see the puller, you are either going to spill it, splatter it, take your outside arm and spill it out, or you're going to take your inside arm and you're going to hit it square to box it, whatever your coach is telling you to do. But your eyes need to be down, and then if your eyes are down, you'll eventually fall into this tackle. And when I say down, I mean down the line of scrimmage. You're down the line of scrimmage here, square, you could fall into this tackle and see what's going on. This is another get off clip. You'll get a chance to see where you're getting off pretty decent right here, but have a tighter stance so you can naturally roll off the ball of your feet and you can attack once the ball is snapped. So again, you have to have a ball key, then you have to have an alignment key or a man key so you can get off the line of scrimmage here and attack your man. I do like your power. I do like your hand placement, but then you can always be lower as you go through it. You always need to be a little bit lower. See through your hands. Drive through when you make contact, you want to make sure you have your eyes below your hands. This clip is a lot like the second clip where if you have your ball key and you get off on the ball vertically, you will then have a man key, and the man blocks down. You will then get square, hip to hip, and you will pass the line of scrimmage, and you will look down the line for any pullers. And this is where you spill or box based on what you're being taught to do. Great opportunity right here to look down the line of scrimmage, staying square. Now you have to decide: are we boxing? Are we spilling? And that's based on what your coach is telling you to do. But you should see the man key has blocked down. So this is where you want to get hip to hip, shoulder square, and take out as many pullers as you can. That's part of just playing defensive line. We always got to be in attack mode. So you need to make sure that you are set, ready to go. Here's an example of the center having his hand on the ball and you're not set in your stance, ready to go. When the ball is snapped, you need to be attacking vertically, rolling off that front foot in your 2 point stance. Make this a point of emphasis. Here you're going to see you get up in the air on the snap, not vertically firing off the football. You got to get vertical off the ball, right? You want to make contact with your hat, hips, and hands, and you want to be square, and you want to have low pad level, and you want to be physical and aggressive. Make sure you're physical and aggressive, okay? The point I want to make right here in this particular freeze frame is where your feet are. Your feet need to be behind your body. You need to be driving this player backwards, not him torquing and tossing you. So have your feet behind as if you're still in your stance. This is an example of being slow off the ball. Make sure we have a ball key, right? When the ball is snapped and you are powering with all your weight that's loaded up in this 2 point stance, all your weight is loaded up on your front foot. So all your weight's loaded up on your front foot, even your 3 point stance is loaded up on your front foot. But you have a ball key, the ball is snapped, and you need to be rolling off that front foot fast, hard, and aggressive. Your first step is very important here, and it starts with your eyes, and it starts with knowing where your weight is with your body. You can see the quarterback almost has the ball and you haven't taken a step. Make sure you have a great ball key and make sure you're taking that step once that ball is snapped so you can be aggressive and put pressure on this offensive tackle. Quarterback has the ball here and you still haven't gone forward. Let's do a really good job of having a ball. You do have the power to play with this guy. I think all in all, you have the ability to play here. You have the length and the power. Where you are right here with your feet being behind you, driving through is where you need to be when you make contact on this big guy. But I think you have the power and the ability to play. You need to continue to do a good job of having a ball key, then a man key, and striking with violence. Never stop as you run and make this play. Coaches are all going to say the same thing. Have a great stance, 3 point stance or a 2 point stance. Make sure you're loaded up with your weight on the upfield foot ready to take off. Have a great ball key and make sure we see the ball and fire off the ball as it runs. Do a great job with your man key. Once you've transitioned from a ball key to a man key, play with a tremendous amount of effort. You should be able to have, in the first 2 or 3 steps, determine where the ball is going and attack your blocker. Once you've attacked your blocker, within 2 steps, you want to shed and get to where the ball carrier is. You should always end up in the picture of the football. Once the play is dead and the whistle's blown, you should end up somewhere around that football play and in that picture. That's great effort. Always play with great effort.